what we're going to start out with is this first page. So you see the first page here, and it has the pronunciations. Again, think simple. Hebrew is very simple. These are the only pronunciations that you're going to need to know in order to learn Hebrew, in the biblical Hebrew. So what I want you to do is just look at the letters, and I'm going to say the letter as it's pronounced, and then you're going to follow after me once I've said all the letters, okay? So, A as in father, E as in red, A as in hay, I as in sit, O as in so, U as in Sue. Okay, so now I'm going to have you guys all say the letters, please, after me. A, E, A, I, O, U. Okay, next. When you put a Y at the end of these letters, you're going to have I as in I, A as in hay, E as in ski, Oi as in boy, Ui as in buoy. Okay? I, A, E, Oi, Ui. Okay? Then, now you have this weird sound which really only occurs in certain languages, Hebrew especially. You have the CH sound as in loch or bach. Okay? So say good. It's almost like you're bringing something up from your lungs. It's called a guttural sound. That's why it's called guttural, because it's coming from either your gut or the inside of your lungs. Okay. The next sound is another guttural sound, definitely coming from the gut. And I'm going to read what I wrote here. Okay. Aw. Sort of like an aw sound you make when the doctor tells you to stick out your tongue and go aw, but further back in the throat. This sound does not have an actual English equivalent, but in Hebrew it is referred to as guttural, as it comes up from the gut. All right, so let's try and do the ah. Aw. Okay, you hear it coming from the back of your throat somewhere, maybe coming from your stomach or intestines. Okay, very good. Next one is TZ. Ts. Yeah, ts. Now the many different languages have that TZ sound, but in English it's written as a diphthong, as two letters. So in my book I have TZ as in Mr. Katz. What do you have as in Mr. Katz? Okay, Katz. Ts. So ts. Okay, ts. Katz. Can you say ts? Good. All right, the next letter is TH. Now, English speakers have several versions of TH. The Hebrew version is just the TH as in Thomas. So it's a T sound. So TH as in Thomas. But as I wrote here, originally the TH was pronounced as we do today in English, as in Finn, so such as in Sabbath or Beth Israel. But today it is pronounced mostly as a T. Okay? So when you see the TH here written in any of these pronunciation guides, just say T. Okay? Just plain old T. So everybody say T. Good. All right? Then if you see an apostrophe, when you see an apostrophe as part of the pronunciation, when a syllable is marked with an apostrophe, it makes the sound of the letter. So you see the B with an apostrophe, that makes a B sound. Okay? The apostrophe just means you're making the sound of that individual letter. Okay? So the G with apostrophe makes the G sound. In this pronunciation, it's the G as in gorilla, not the G as in giraffe, but the G as in gorilla. So say G.
Go.
Good. Okay? And the D apostrophe makes the D sound, say D. Good. And so on, as used with what's called a schwa. Okay, you'll learn that a little later. So you see at the bottom of this page, we're reading from right to left because Hebrew is read from right to left. So we're going to start at the A, see the A all the way to the right, and we're going to do this pronunciation the way we did from up to down, but we're going to do it from right to left as if we're reading it in Hebrew. Okay, ready? Let's do it together without me prompting. Just do it together. A, E, A, I, O, U, I, A, E, Oi, Ui, A, S, T. Very good. Next are the letters. So turn the page. These are the Hebrew letters. And for this lesson, we're actually going to write out the letters. And each lesson, we're going to write out the letters. So you're going to get really good at writing out the letters. Right? But at this moment, I'm just going to say the letters. And you're going to look at it. You see the top right? And it says Aleph. You see that? Alrighty. So I'm going to say the names of the letters, and then after I say the names of the letters, I'm going to have the class say the names of the letters, okay? And the new students can just listen, or you can say them with me. They're actually written out. You see that? Aleph, see that? And then Beyth, Gimel, and so forth. So the names of the letters are written out. At the beginning of each class from now on, we're going to say the letters. So you will get really, really good at the letters. Okay? So I'm going to say them first, and then we're going to go back, and the class is going to say them. Okay? So follow along with me with the letters. Aleph,
Aleph,
Beyth,
Beyth,
Gimel,
Gimel,
Dalet,
Dalet,
Hey,
Hey,
Vav,
Zayin,
Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Chaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Fe, Tzadi, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Tav. Very good. All right, now we're going to write the letters. The Aleph. The Aleph is the most complicated. So it's going to take a little bit of writing out. But what I did here, you see I've bracketed several lines together. So go ahead and get your lined paper out. So get a lined paper out and make sure it's backwards so the rib is on the right side. There you go. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to start by bracketing the top line. And then, I'll show you on the board here. Start by bracketing the top line and go down to the second line, and then you're going to make a bracket mark here. Go down to the third line and end at the fourth line, like this. Okay? So you're going to bracket 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and the little bracket mark is going to go in the second space. So you got 1 space, 2 spaces, 3 spaces, bracketing 4 lines. So go ahead and do that for the first line. There you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to do most of the writing in this middle space, okay? So that's the first space, second space, third space. The second space is where we're going to do most of our writing, okay? And from now on, whenever you get your piece of paper, your lined piece of paper, you're going to do the brackets there, and you're just going to keep going down to the end of the piece of paper, bracket, 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 okay? So, but for now, we can just get started with the top line, the top bracketed lines, okay? So, how do we write an Aleph? So look at the page here, which has the guide. What you're going to do first is to guide yourself with the shape of the letter is you're going to make a rectangle that's taller than it is wide. So just make a rectangle. Go ahead and make one. Right there. Okay. Then make 2 more. 2 more rectangles. Okay. So a total of 3 rectangles. All right? Next, in the top left corner, you're going to make a diagonal from the top left to the bottom right. Okay, make a diagonal there. And then do that with the other 2 boxes. Just a diagonal. Okay? Then, you're going to divide this diagonal line into imaginary thirds by putting a little dot here and here. So it's going to be divided into thirds, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Okay? Do that with each one. Thirds. Starting from the top dot, you're going to make an S that ends in the bottom left corner. So make an S, sort of like a backwards S there. Okay? Okay. And make that in each one of the boxes. Okay. Then we're going to end in the bottom dot, but we're going to first of all make a question mark starting in this top right corner, like that, and ending there. So make a question mark, a real very dramatic question mark, starting in the top right corner, ending in the bottom dot. All righty. Now that we know the shape and the boundaries, we're going to try to make our own Aleph, okay? So let's just start from the top, going freehand, make a diagonal down. Let's make 3 of them. Okay, 3 diagonals, mark off the thirds. Then do the S into this corner here. It's flush with this top left one. And then make the question mark in the top right, flush with this one here, okay? Okay, so the next letter is a Beyth, and the way you do it, let's do the next letter, is you have a curve that's really broad, and then it comes down straight. This by itself, before it becomes a Beyth, is the letter Resh. That's this, almost at the end of the alphabet. But it's a basic shape. So when I say draw a Resh, that's what you're going to be doing. So it goes straight across, curves, and then straight down. If this is curvy, it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be straight up and down. Okay. All right. Then imagine this. There's a little line coming down here. You're going to come a little out from the top of this Resh form, and you're going to start drawing a base, just a straight line, and it comes a little bit past the Resh form. Okay? Okay, so the next letter is a Gimel, and I'm going to do a little curve here. So this is a big curve, that's a Resh, made into a Beyth. A little curve, and it's definitely a diagonal here, okay? So it looks almost like a walking stick that you're walking and putting out in front of you. And then you're going to mark a little dot halfway into this line here. And that's your mark to come out with the walking leg of the Gimel. So it's a diagonal. So you can see it's balanced. This is balancing this top here. And it's like a walking leg. So that's Gimel. Okay, so do several of those. Dalet. So Dalet has a cap, fairly long, sort of like the Resh here for the Beyth, a straight cap, and a straight up and down stick. Dalet. The next letter is Hey. We're going to make a Resh form again. So big cross and then down and curve and straight down. So a Resh form, just like with the Beyth. Okay, and then you're not going to connect this line. You're going to come a little inward of this line and down. Okay, so it's a little inward and keeping this open, a straight line down. Okay? Hey, H-E-Y. The next letter is Vav. It starts out sort of like the Gimel with a little top and then a little curve, but going straight down. Vav. Next is Zayin. Make a little cap, little line. Then you're going to do a zigzag, sort of like a Z, Zayin. You're going to zig to the left and then zag down so it's flush with the middle of this cap. Zigzag, okay? Zayin. Next is Chet. It's going to have the resh form here. Nice long line and then a curve and a straight line down. That's the resh form. Now, similar to the hey, we're going to be going in a little bit, but now we're going to connect. We're going to close this, okay, and go straight down with the line. So it looks just like the hey, but the hey is open. The chet is closed, and you can even feel it in your throat. The hey comes directly from your lungs and it breathes, hey, but the chet is closed, okay? So chet. So next comes the tate. Tate is a big upside, it's a big U. Big U. Okay, so do that first. A big U. And then you have a little tail coming in here. Little tail coming down. That's it. Tate. Okay. Next is the Yud. You're going to start sort of like with the Vav. Make a little line here and a little curve and then a little line, and that's it. It's a tiny letter. Okay, Yud. Next comes the Chaf. You're going to start with the resh form. Okay, come across, big line, curve. But when you get down here, you curve in again, and you come a little bit farther out than this top here. Okay, it's a little farther out. And that's a chaf. So the next letter, we're going to go above the line, above this middle space. So I'm going to make a big, this is lamed, I'm going to make a big L shape, high, tall line, and then a long line here. So you can see it's part of a corner of a square. So make an L up here. And then starting here, we're going to make a big curve, big curve, big curve, and ending just flush with this line here, okay? That's a lamed. Lamed. Next comes the mem. Mem is an big upside down U. So you're going to start at the middle space, come up, and then down. Okay, so it's an upside down U. And then continuing with this line here, put your pencil here, and then come across, make a base, but don't close it. This is going to be open. Okay? It's going to be open. So let's just pretend this line isn't here. That's what it's going to look like. Then you're going to come on top, the top left, and you're going to put a little chimney here. So it looks like a house, like an igloo with a chimney. Okay? Mem. Next is the Nun. Nun is going to start out similar to the Vav. You got a little curve, little line here, a little curve, But then when you come down to the bottom, you're going to curve in again. And it's going to be just sticking out a little tiny bit. A little farther out than the top there. Noon. Next is samech. And if you're recognizing any English letters in the Hebrew, that's a good thing, because I think there's a lot of similarities. So to me, lamed mem noon is LMN. Okay? So the next is samech. Samech, you make a big line here across. Keep your pencil over there. And then you're going to make a big backwards U and ending up to the top, leaving this little segment out. Okay, so big line across, big U, close it up at the top with the little line sticking out. Samech. Okay, next is ayin. Okay, now this has that guttural aw sound. Ayin. The way you do this is you start from the top left, go to the bottom right with a big diagonal. Okay, make a big diagonal there. Okay, then flush with this line up here, you're going to be going back to the top, but then you're going to make a big curve and stick it out like this. Flush with this one here. Okay, so ayin. So when you see that aw sound here, that usually means there's an ayin there in the word. So ayin. Next letter is a fe, and this looks very similar to the chaf. Okay, so we're going to come across, big line here, curve down, curve at the bottom, stick out a little bit. Okay, so that looks just like a chaf, right? But now we're going to come in a little from the top, and we're going to make a little line, curve, like this. So it almost looks like a backwards yud. Okay? So it's a chaf with a yud stuck in it. That's called a fe. Next, so tsari. Make a diagonal here. Diagonal coming down, and then it's going to come back on itself. So it's like a little spring, and it's going to be flush with this one here. Okay? So just go down and then make that line going backwards. Then imagine, you can either put a dot here or imagine this cut in half or halfway mark. Then you're going to make like a big Y coming down here. Okay? Looks like a Y that's leaning on a spring. That's the tzadi. Tzadi, okay. Ready? Next one is kuf. So kuf is a little unusual, but just watch and then write. You're going to start in the top, curve around here, and then curve down. So it's a little less. It's like a backwards C, but it's a little less on the bottom than it is in the top. You see that? So this sticks out a little bit more than the bottom. Okay, so backwards C. Then you're going to come in a little bit from the top and down, sort of like the hay. You're not going to connect. This line is going to be freestanding. It's not going to connect to the C at all. So you're going to go all the way down. Make sure it doesn't connect to the bottom one. Okay? And that's a kuf. Does this look like a backwards Q, sort of? Yeah, so it's the same letter, but it's backwards. Kuf. Okay? Next comes the resh. Okay, so we already know the resh form. We've done many resh forms. Going to come across to the right, curve down, and straight down. Resh. Next is the sheen. Sheen is like a big, 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 big bowl. Okay, almost like a big salad bowl. Big W, yeah. Oh, well, we don't have the W yet. We have the salad bowl first. Okay? Now, if you can put an imaginary dot or just a dot in the bottom left corner of this bowl here, somebody left a cherry pit in there, then imagine that there's, you don't have to do this, that there's a little line dividing the bowl in half. Then up top, imagine there's a halfway mark on this side of the bowl, okay? Then you're going to connect the dots. All right? Sheen. And then the last letter is a tav. Again, you're going to make a resh form all the way across, curve down. Nice resh form. Going to come in a little bit, connect the line down, and at the bottom you're going to kick out a little bit. I'm going to make it a little more of a kick so it's more obvious, okay? All right, so it looks completely different from the chet, right? Okay, it looks very similar to the chet, but the tate has a little, the tav has a little kicking leg. Tav. Okay? So we're ready to do the whole alphabet now, okay? With the cadence, then you notice there's a little rap cadence when we do this. Ready? Aleph, Beyth, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Chaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Fe, Tzadi, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Tav. Good. So that's the entire Hebrew alphabet. It is 22 letters. These are all the letters in the entire Old Testament that you will ever be seeing. You won't be seeing any other letters. And the sounds that we make with the letters, the Aleph is silent. So if you see this in a word, it won't make a sound of its own, but it has an attached vowel. Okay, that will come later. The Beyth has the B sound, and it's written here, just the way it's written. That's the main sound of these letters. Okay, so you see how simple Hebrew is. Okay, now it does get a little more complicated, obviously, because Hebrew's been around for thousands of years. But if you learn these letters and the main sounds that they make, you're there. Okay, so the Aleph is silent. Okay, but it does take the sound of the vowel. That comes later. The Beyth has a B sound, and I'm going to put the apostrophe here because that means that you're saying the sound of the letter itself.
Like bread.
Right. So that'll be a B. The Gimel is a G sound, as in gorilla. Okay. G. Dalet is D. Hey is H. Vav is V. Zayin, Z. Chet, Ch. Tate, T. Yud, Y. Chaf, Ch. So you can see there are two letters that have the Ch sound, the Chet and the Chaf. Same exact sound. Lamed, L. Mem, M. Nun, N. Samech, S. Ayin, silent. But when it has a vowel, it makes that vowel sound guttural. So that's also silent. But I'll put guttural along with it, okay? It changes the vowel sound into a guttural sound. Fe is F. Tzadi is Ts. Kuf is K. Resh, R. Shin, Sh. Tav, T. So now we're going to go through this again. We're going to do the names of the letters and then the sound they make. Okay? Aleph, silent. Okay, we're just doing the names of the letters and the sounds they make. Okay. Aleph, silent. Beyth, b. Gimel, g. Dalet, d. Hey, h. Vav, v. Zayin, z. Chet, ch. Tate, t. Yud, y. Chaf, ch. Lamed, l. Mem, m. Noon, n. Samech, s. Ayin, silent guttural. Fe, f. Tsadi, ts. Kuf, k. Resh, r. Shin, sh. Tav, t. Okay? Now you could actually just stop there and start reading Hebrew, or at least looking at it on your own. But like I say, it's been around for thousands of years, so it's complicated. Humans have managed to complicate it.